This evening I'm reading from a handful of some of my favorite poetry books, and I'm starting with the Poetry of Surrealism, which is an anthology, and it was anthologized by Michael Benedict, taught at BU when I was working in the library there. I found this book, which he probably assigned to a class. I found it in the trash at the end of the class period. Somebody was probably glad to be out of school. And this piece is called Phantom of the Clouds, and I think it's his translation of something by Guillermo Oponier, The Phantom of the Clouds. Since it was the eve of July 14th, about 4 in the afternoon, I went out into the street to see the saltimbanquets. These people who do tricks outdoors are beginning to be rare in Paris. In my youth, one saw many more than today. They have almost all gone to the provinces. I took the boulevard Saint-Germain, and in a little square located between Saint-Germain-des-Prés and the Danton's statue, I found some saltimbanquets. The crowd that awaited them was silent and resigned to waiting. I found a spot in the general circle from which everything could be seen. Formidable weights, Belgian cities, held up at arm's length by a Russian worker from Longwy. Black hollow dumbbells with a frozen river for shaft. Fingers rolling a cigarette as bitter and delicious as life. Numerous dirty rugs on the ground. Rugs with permanent pleats, rugs which are nearly completely the color of dust, and on which a few yellow or green spots persist, like a tune that will not leave you. See that thin, wild-looking one? The ashes of his ancestors are emerging in his graying beard. He carries all his hereditary in his face this way, yet seems to be dreaming of the future, while mechanically turning a hand organ whose sweet voice makes a magnificent lamentation with gurgling, muffled groans and several clinkers. Pause. When it was clear, this is after skipping some stuff, when it was clear that nobody would give anything more, they decided to begin. From under the organ a little saltimbanque came dressed in tubercular red, with fur at his wrists and ankles. He cried out and bowed, bending out his forearms prettily, hands open wide. With one leg tucked back to genuflect, he bowed to all 4 points of the compass, and when he stepped atop the ball, his slight body began so delicate a music that none of the spectators could resist it. A tiny spirit without the least human burden, everybody thought, and this music of shapes and forms drowned out that of the mechanical organ, ground out by the man with his face covered with his own ancestors. The little saltimbanque turned a cartwheel with so much harmonious grace that the organ completely stopped playing, and the organ grinder hid his face in his hands with those fingers of his like descendants of his own destiny, small fetuses which emerged from his beard, renewed Indian cries, angelic music from the trees, sudden disappearance of the child. The saltimbanques lifted the great dumbbells at arm's length. They juggled with the weights, while each spectator searched in himself for the miraculous child. Century, oh, century of clouds. So, the third in my collection of favorite anthologies of poetry is Technicians of the Sacred, subtitled A Range of Poetries from Africa, America, Asia, and Oceania, edited with commentaries by Jerome Rothenberg. And he and some of his colleagues were at BU when I was there, and I never managed to encounter them. Technicians of the sacred is turquoise and scarlet and cedar and satin karaz, said Michael McClure. Robert Greeley also second in the book. I had a copy when I was merely 16 and lost it along the way, and was able to recover it. This is a poem from Oceania, or Polynesia, or Hawaii. And this is the fourth element, or fourth stanza in the poem. Fear falls upon me on the mountain top, fear of the passing night, fear of the night approaching, fear of the pregnant night, fear of the breach of law, dread of the place of offering and the narrow trail, dread of the food and the waste part remaining, dread of the receding night, awe of the night approaching, awe of the dog-child of the night creeping away, a dog-child of the night creeping hither, a dark red dog, a brindled dog, a hairless dog of the hairless ones. A dog is an offering for the oven. Palatable is the sacrifice for supplication. Pitiful in the cold without covering. Pitiful in the heat without a garment. He goes naked on the way to Malama, where the night ends for the children of night. From the growth and the parching, from the cutting off and the quiet, the driving hula wind, his companion, younger brother of the naked ones, the aloe, out from the slime come rootlets, out from the slime comes young growth, out from the slime comes branching leaves, out from the slime comes outgrowth, born in the time when men came from afar, still it is night. Quite a number of years ago, encountered the book Sunflower Splendor and bought it at Grolier's in Harvard Square, and I can see the same day I bought Investigative Poetry by Ed Sanders, because I have the receipt for $9.40 for the two books. David Eberly, I worked with him, and he told me about Get Sunflower Splendor if you think Chinese poetry is good. And it is a great anthology. Today I'm trying to focus on some of my favorite books, which happen to be poetry anthologies. Here goes. Here's Tu Fu, Dreaming of Li Po, 2 poems. Parted by death, we swallow remorse. Apart in life, we always suffer. South of the river, miasmal place, from the banished exile, not a word. Old friend, you appeared in a dream. It shows you have long been in my thoughts. Perhaps it wasn't your living soul. That's way too far. It couldn't be done. Your spirit came, and the maples were green. Your spirit left, the mountain pass darkened. Friend, now that you're ensnared down there, how did you manage to wing away? Moonlight shines full on the rafters, yet I wonder if it isn't your reflection. The waters are deep and the waves expansive. Don't let the water dragon get you. 2. Drifting clouds pass by all day long. The wanderer is long in getting here. 3 nights now you've entered my dreams, which shows how good a friend you are. But your leave-takings are hurried. Bitterly you say it's not easy to come. The river waters are wind-blown and choppy, and you're afraid to lose your oars. Outside the door you scratch your white head, as if a lifetime's ambition were forfeit. Officials teem in the capital city, yet you alone are wretched. Who says the net is wide? When it tangles such a man in his old age, an imperishable frame of 1,000 years is but a paltry afterlife affair. The image, and then that's the poem, and then here's a comment. The image of the net plays an important role in both this and the next poem. Here references is made to the net of the law. The injustice of this net moves Tufu to write in 20 rhymes to Lipo. When they applied the old laws to your case, was there no one to point this out? It is against this net of the law, which has kept Lipo in exile, away from the capital, that Tufu against which rails.